Getty. Russian Ambassador Anatoly Antonov is seeking help to secure a meeting with U.S. government officials. Anatoly Antonov, Russian ambassador to the United States, said he is at his wits' end at being left out in the cold. Mr. Antonov has resorted to writing to U.S. Senator Orrin Hatch pleading for help in setting up meetings with U.S. officials, as he has yet to meet Vice President Mike Pence and the White House Chief of Staff. In a letter dated March 9, Mr. Antonov wrote, "I would be very grateful for your advice on how to develop contacts with members of U.S. Congress, departments and agencies, as well as for your possible assistance in setting up such meetings," reported Politico. The Russian ambassador claims many officials that have refused or ignored his requests for meetings, and lists the White House Chief of Staff John Kelly and Democrat House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi among those who have officially declined a meeting. Getty's Senator for Utah, Republican Orrin Hatch. A lot of meeting requests with the leadership of U.S. agencies and members of Congress were either left without a response, or simply refused under no pretext. Anatoly Antonov, Russian ambassador to the United States: "As I have told you during our meeting, I have to face difficulties in setting up contacts with U.S. high-ranking officials," Mr. Antonov wrote in a letter to Senator Hatch. A lot of meeting requests with the leadership of U.S. agencies and members of Congress were either left without a response, or simply refused under no pretext, he wrote. Mr. Antonov's problems are unlikely to improve following the U.S. announcing it will expel 60 diplomats and shut down Russia's consulate in Seattle, in response to the Salisbury nerve agent attack on former Russian spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia. As tensions continue to grow between Russia and the U.S., the Kremlin yesterday announced that it would be shutting down the U.S. consulate in St. Petersburg and also expelling 60 diplomats in return. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said the country was responding in kind to the U.S. action. He said, "The measures would be reciprocal. They include expulsion of the equivalent number of diplomats, and they include our decision to withdraw our agreement to allow the United States General Consulate to operate in St. Petersburg." Some Republican senators have met with Mr. Antonov, including Hatch, Rand Paul from Kentucky, Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, and Senate Foreign Relations Chairman Bob Corker from Tennessee. One congressional official said members of Congress should be more receptive to Antonov. The senior Republican aide said, "While there is plenty we disagree with Russia on, it doesn't do us any good to just blatantly ignore them." Getty. House Speaker Paul Ryan have not responded to Mr. Antonov's request to meet President Donald Trump. "Is absolutely correct that we must engage with the Russian Federation, and members of Congress should stop their isolationist mentality. But many congressional leaders, including Republican House Speaker Paul Ryan, have not responded to Mr. Antonov's requests to meet." Following the U.S. decision to expel Russian diplomats, Speaker Ryan said on Twitter, "The decision to expel Russian diplomats from the U.S. makes clear that we stand with our allies and that there will be consequences for Russia's recklessness. We must continue to lead international efforts to isolate Russia so that it understands its behavior won't be tolerated." Getty. Donald Trump said, "Getting along with Russia, and others, is a good thing, not a bad thing." This approach by many U.S. officials does, however, seem contrary to the actions taken by President Donald Trump. Following Vladimir Putin's re-election as Russia's president this month, Mr. Trump called to congratulate him. He tweeted, "I called President Putin of Russia to congratulate him on his election victory. In past, Obama called him also. The fake news media is crazed because they wanted me to excoriate him. They are wrong. Getting along with Russia, and others, is a good thing, not a bad thing."